Just recently finished my first medical posting in medical school, and I want to tell you about it.
Why you always find it?
Hi, you're welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm currently a fourth year medical student of the University of Ibadan. If you've been following my channel for a little while now, you know that I've been sharing my medical school experience, especially in the clinical aspect of medical school. This is a whole different ball game. It is different from the preclinical school, which we finished some times back. And for the first time, we are doing a posting that actually involves us, I mean the students, interacting with patients. It's kind of, we are closer to becoming doctors. We're actually part of the medical team because we do stuff. We get to collect, take history from patients, examine patients, even come up with differential diagnosis, though we don't get to treat. And we also get to do procedures. Let me just chill and share this experience in the most fun way I know how to. So like many other activities in medical school, it started with an orientation program.
Does anyone have a question? All right. So you are welcome again to this unit. And lastly, I would like to implore you to please treat your patients the same way you want to be treated. Okay. This group rep should follow me so you can get your posting booklet.
So I think I need to explain some things so you fully follow this gist. My class is a class of about 200, and the postings, like everything we are going to be doing throughout the remaining times in medical school, has been scheduled. So the class is divided into two groups. Half of the class will be doing medicine posting, while the other half is going to be doing surgery posting. And this is the first. We've never done anything like that before. I happen to fall under the half that is doing medicine, and even the half that is doing medicine, we are further divided into 7 different groups. Each of the 7 groups will go to different medicine units. There are different medicine units like renal, chest, cardiology, neurology. The kind of patients and the condition they treat in each unit is separate. And we're going to be spending the next 6 weeks of our lives in this unit. Something I'm very lucky about is that the kind of people I get grouped with are reasonable, fun, and happy people. There are people that will not. Medical school is already very stressful. There are people that will not add to your stress.
Explain that as coding. Can you spell the code?
It's like C-O-L-D. When it starts doing me, I'll feel like
This first medical posting is where we actually get to interact one-on-one with patients. This posting gave more glimpse of what it actually feels like being a doctor. So we've spent about 4 years in medical school, and this is the first time we actually get to interact with real patients, with real problems. One of the things we get to do is to take history from patients, examine patients, come up with diagnosis, know the investigations we are going to do, and also perform procedures. There are many procedures we are required to learn and actually perform, include setting line, giving IV injection, giving IM injection. There's a lot that we are actually expected to perform, assist, or observe in the posting. This posting actually reaffirmed the fact that I actually would enjoy being a doctor, and I would like to spend some part of my life doing this doctor thing. For the past 4 years of medical school, it's very easy to forget that you're actually training to become doctors. We get to learn many abstract stuff that you'll be wondering the applications of those stuffs. Now we are seeing the application of almost everything we've learned. It's just now realizing how important it is for you to learn your preclinical topics or courses very well, because everything is going to wait for you. Right now we are getting to apply many of the things we've learned, and I'm glad I learned many of those things very well. It makes the work easier for me here. Despite the fact that I enjoyed the posting, it was indeed very challenging. Like, we were physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically drained. And I mean it. Just imagine going to school by 8 a.m. in the morning and having to come back by past 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. in the night. And I mean it. Okay, let me tell you how the typical day goes when I was in the posting. Almost every day we have a lecture from 8 to 9, which usually extend beyond 9. And after the 8 a.m. lecture, we then go for ward rounds. Ward round is basically when the medical team, which we are part of, visits each patient on the ward. So we can have a couple of patients on the ward. We are going to visit each patient, review the patient, look at the treatment that has been done so far, see if there's need to change their medication or whatever. But we as medical students, I've said it several times that we're actually part of the medical team. They're literally the lowest on the team. Just above us are the house officers, then we have the registrars, the senior registrars, and finally the consultant. There's this hierarchy in medicine. And one of our own responsibility as students, medical students, is to take history of the patient, examine the patient. Something I really found fun about this medical posting is that doctors are more like detectives and the diseases are the criminals. So you're going to be picking clues from different places when they tell you, and you need a lot of knowledge too. Well, I'm still going to get there. They'll give you symptoms. When they give you the symptoms, there are questions you need to ask to know whether that symptom is actually pointing towards a disease or not. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but the thing about word round is that it can last for several hours. It can last for 4-5 hours. Sometimes it could be short too. And you're going to stand all through this time. You can see how physically demanding that is. After the word round, usually we'll have a tutorial. So the tutorial is going to be presented by one of the students. The topics are shared among us actually. Then after presentation, the doctor that is with us then refines the presentation, kind of points out the important parts and give us the application of what we've just learned. And these tutorials are always very helpful. By the time you are finishing tutorial, it's already afternoon, sometimes evening, depending on what day. Sometimes you could have ward call, sometimes you could need to go to emergency department call, and sometimes you could just need to sign some procedures because we are expected to do procedures as well. So let's take for example, on that particular day you decide to go to emergency for emergency department call. You're going to last with any of the emergency doctor and you're going to be there. Normally it's meant to be from 6 p.m. till I think 12 a.m. in the midnight. But for someone like me that stays off campus, it's not possible to leave there around that time. Then when I get to emergency, I'll just find any nice doctor and you get to do stuff with them. That's the typical day. When I remember clearly when the HOD of the department was addressing us, she mentioned that your posting includes Saturdays and Sundays. So we actually do have other activities. There is a clinic day where you go to the clinic and see new patients or see patients that are returning. There are days where we do emergency pick. We go to emergency departments, which all the patients that are coming to UCH that day, that are coming to the hospital that day, we are going to be the one to receive them, then eventually send them to their different units, like refer the patient to their different units. And there's weekend call too. So you have to go to school on Saturdays and Sundays. Around that time, there was literally no time to do anything. In addition to this, you need to read. This first medical posting we just did, there's actually objective. I mean, there are things they expect of us to be able to know, to have known by the end of the posting. One of it is to learn signs and symptoms and to learn proper history taking an examination, proper clerkship. When you see a patient and the patient tells you the symptoms they have, you should be able from that symptoms to know what the diagnosis is. And you should also know what questions to ask patient, because if you don't understand that, if you don't know what question to ask patient, you probably will not get the diagnosis. That's the basis of medicine. Another part is examination. There are different kinds of examination you could do on your patients, and at first it feels like invasion, but as time goes on, you are learning that all these things are actually required to give your patient the best possible care. Because if you don't examine your patient, there are things you could miss out. Another thing we're expected to do is, I've mentioned it before, is to perform procedures. So example of procedures we get to do is like setting IV line, giving IM, giving IV. And last, let me talk about how this posting has changed me and what lessons I've learned from the posting. The major lesson I learned from this medical posting is that First of all, the knowledge you gain from preclinical is very important, and you need a lot of knowledge to practice medicine. If you want to be a happy medical student, or you want to be a happy doctor, after your medical school, you're going to do our job. You need to know your stuffs. You don't have to be the best, or you don't have to know everything, but at least know the basics, because everything is built on the previous knowledge, and when you get to the advanced stage, nobody will go back again to explain the previous thing to you. You have to go back yourself, and it will be hard if you never knew it at any point. So this is a piece of advice to you. If you are just starting your medical school journey, make sure you actually learn the preclinical. Even biochemistry, that many parts of biochemistry seem abstract. There's actually application of all those things. Anatomy, yeah, learn your anatomy too. You are going to need it a lot. Yes. And that's the end of this video. I hope you found it enjoyable as much as I did trying to make this video. Yeah, thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you're not subscribed yet to the channel. Like this video and share it with someone if you might also enjoy it. I'll see you in the next one. I don't know why I did that.